Hello and welcome to what we're gonna call our weird and wonderful Clear Novels podcast.
Very weird.
We've not really got an awful lot to talk about football-wise, as you've probably seen in the news. Obviously, no football's going on anywhere other than a few not minor countries.
Uzbekistan league, mate. I don't think that's minor.
Of course.
That's one of the big ones. That is one of the big ones.
That is one of the big boys. Yeah, but instead, what we're going to do, we're going to have a little bit of a nostalgia, a bit of a look back on personally what we've enjoyed about English football previously. I think it's really the only thing you could do in this time of crisis. Would you like to do a little quick update? So, Sam, you're going home straight after this podcast, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm off home to quarantine. Sure.
Yeah. So we'll get Robert in as a temporary substitution for yourself while you're on lockdown in Tunbridge. So this will be the last you hear of this man's voice for a little while.
Yeah. See you later, guys.
That's it. He's resigning.
Bye.
But what we're going to do is basically, so it's a weird and wonderful podcast. That's a bit of a tongue twister. We're basically going to take through 5 of our personal favourite strange memories of the Premier League, English leagues as a whole, really. Then we're going to go through our worst Premier League 11 ever. And then we're going to go on to 5 of the best footballers' tweets. Each, yes, we've picked 5 each. We've done very well. Yeah, we'd like to clarify, we've picked 5 each on the weird and wonderful section of stuff. And then we've done a combined team for worst Premier League 11. So shall we get cracking? Because we've got quite a lot to get through, actually, haven't we?
Let's get cracking, sure. Would you like to kick us off, or do you want me to?
I would love to kick us off, actually,
Let's
Sam.
go.
So my first part of this weird and wonderful podcast is it's personal favourite of mine. Obviously, being an Arsenal fan, it was the Arsenal legend that was Armand Traoré.
Legend in
Absolute
capital letters.
Legend. And when he first came over, he was 17 years old, and he took knuckle dusters to a North London derby, and he spent 10 hours in a police cell after he was caught taking his knuckle dusters to his first ever North London derby. He said that he admitted that he slightly overestimated the hostility between the two sides and apologised for his mistake. But that's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, taking knuckle dusters to a derby, that is proper hard, man. That's Green Street stuff, that
is hilarious. I mean, what a player to think that it's going to be that hostile that he thinks he's going to get a scrap. I mean, we're not in Greece, all right?
Yeah.
We're not in Turkey where all these things happen, all right? We're in England. It's only Tottenham versus Arsenal at the end of the day.
Exactly. And, only Tottenham versus Arsenal.
I was waiting till you'd pick up on that.
You thought you were going to get away with that. Not happening. But yeah, no, he said it was because of a previous experience he had when he was playing at PSG. And, fans said they batter each other, so he figured he'd bring it as protection, just in case anyone tried to batter a 17-year-old Armand Traoré. We'd like to clarify, Armand, no one was going to batter you, as you've now since clarified. But yeah, he said, and I quote, "As I walked into the stadium, the police found it on me, and I ended up in custody for more than 10 hours. I didn't see a ball kicked." Well, he wouldn't have seen a ball kicked anyway. At the time, because he wasn't getting into a team at all. He said, "Eventually they released me. Then Arsene Wenger found out about it." I can imagine that's where the story ends. I can imagine that I can't imagine that conversation went down too well. Don't you think so?
No, I think it was a big trouble.
Yeah, he didn't have the most successful days at Arsenal, did Armand Traoré. We've got a bit of a history with kind of left backs that aren't very good. Just players that aren't very good, really. I mean, honestly, if it's worst 11, I could make an entire 11 of Arsenal players. That's as bad as it gets. And that's really, really what I want to go on to talk about. Do you want to go on to your first one? Or should we go through them? What do you want to do? Do you want to do one after the other?
I say we go one after the other.
Yeah, okay.
So Archie's gone for more like, how would you describe yours?
Maybe a couple of them aren't too obscure, but some of them are quite obscure memories that I have, and Sam's going to cover the generics.
I've gone quite generic, just because these are my
they need to be covered as well.
Favourite memories,
Completely.
or some of my favourite memories, and I've to kick it. To quite literally kick myself off. Eric Cantona's Kung Fu kick. It's 1995. Crystal Palace playing Man United. It's a bit of a classic, and Palace fans won't stop abusing him. So Cantona thought, you know what, I'm not having this. Decided to jump into the fans and kung fu kick one of the abusing fans. I mean, what do you think about that, Archie? Not ideal.
I wouldn't say it's not ideal. I'd say it's showing passion for your club. I'm all aboard. All aboard the kung fu train. That's what I say. I say it should be encouraged more. It cut down on. I genuinely think it should be. If a player's racially abused, I reckon they get the right to. I mean, he wasn't racially abused in this instance. Sure, he was Eric Cantona just being Eric Cantona. But I reckon if a player's abused, I reckon they should have the right to go and teach the fan a lesson. If I'm honest with you.
Yeah, probably not.
Armand Traoré it differently.
Yeah,
as well.
Brilliant.
Bit of a violent theme here.
Well, Cantona being one of United's most important players got a 9-month ban for the incident.
9 months?
Yeah, meaning that they were out one of their best players for 9 months. Was it really worth it at the end of the day?
Oh, 100%.
Definitely not.
Oh, it definitely was. If a fan, you imagine the satisfaction you get from going into the crowd and actually going after one of these guys that's been abusing you this whole time.
It's assault.
Yeah, and
brilliant. I think that's
not like it's a crime or anything.
Ideal, that is.
Yeah. Don't do assault.
Don't do it.
Don't. Yeah, sound like English.
Don't do assault.
That was really broken English.
It really was.
Yeah. Don't do assault.
Should we move on to your second pick?
Yeah, sure. I've just got images of it up here. It was. It's not strictly Premier League. I mean, the competition itself wasn't. But my fondest memory, it was 2012 after Chelsea had, in my opinion, agonisingly won the Champions League against Bayern Munich at the Allianz. Well, I just hated watching it. I think I was with my mate when we were watching it. Massive Chelsea fan, shout out James. I don't know if I was with you then, but I hated every minute of it because it felt like I was with you. And I remember the whole Drogba penalty and everything happening and seeing Ashley Cole celebrating all this sort of thing. And then I remember seeing John Terry just trot on up the steps, and I'm like, oh, you've been suspended. What are you doing? And in his full kit and boots, I'd like to add, not even just trainers, full-on boots, stands up in the centre and lifts the Champions League trophy on his own. The picture here, I believe, has Jose Bosingwa next to him. No, it's not. I'm a mile off. Wow, my eyesight's terrible. It's Raul Morelos. It's got Raul Morelos next to it, which just makes it, look like a really prestigious
Malouda
trophy.
holding onto his knees.
Honestly, it doesn't get. How can a Champions League trophy be won by that team? But yeah, no, he went up there full kit, and I can see why fans were annoyed at it because he didn't actually play, and he sort of took the limelight after not playing, and that's such an iconic final for Chelsea. For me, I found that hilarious. Rumour had it that he was wearing shin pads, as we can both clearly see from his photo. That is false, unless they're 2-year-old shin pads. And yeah, no, do you have a problem with this?
Yeah, it's John Terry, and anything he does, I don't like.
He has got a bit of a reputation, hasn't he?
Yeah. Horrible man.
He really is. Yeah. No, he's got a nasty streak. But this wasn't really his nasty streak. This is more of a we can get back at you for being a nasty prick. So that's basically.
Like, why are you doing that? You just look like a tit.
He does. Yeah. It's quite funny though. I found it absolutely hilarious. I'm not angry at him. I just thought, what are you doing, man?
I'm fuming.
You're absolutely livid. I'll be interested to hear what Chelsea fans think of this as well. Because do Chelsea fans genuinely think, no, he shouldn't have. We should have let like Gary Cahill or someone lift it.
Was he at the club?
Was it the club? I think he was. I want to say he started, didn't he? Hold up, let's have a look at this. You crack on with yours, and I'm just going to pipe up with some Gary Cahill-based analysis in a minute.
Right, so my next pick is I'm going for Pizzagate. And I'm talking about in 2004, following Man United playing Arsenal, United winning 2-0. There was a bit of a scuffle in the tunnel, and all of a sudden, a slice of pizza ended up on Alex Ferguson's face. I mean, of all the people to throw a slice of pizza on, it probably should be him. But yeah, absolutely. He wasn't.
He did start.
Yeah,
along with David Luiz, Jose Bosingwa, and Ashley Cole at the back. There you go. You carry on now, mate.
Incredible, but moving on. So, of all the people to throw a slice of pizza on, Sir Alex Ferguson. I mean, A, he's an icon. B, he will drop you even at the age of 70, whatever. Or probably would have been 60s then, or 50s. I don't really know. I can't do maths.
You've covered all 20 years, so you're probably in the ballpark. I'd imagine.
Probably around that area. But yeah, Ashley Cole wrote later in his autobiography, all eyes turned and all mouths gawped to see the pizza slip off that famous face and roll down his nice black suit.
What a
He
piece of
definitely didn't
literature.
write that, but
Yeah, very well shadow written, must be said.
yeah, fair play, ghostwriter.
But yeah, no, the rumor has it. Well, he's actually come out
Rumour has it.
since and admitted. Yes, this Fabregas has come out and admitted it was him, because when he was at the time at Arsenal, he was about 17, and he's come out and admitted since that it was actually him that threw the pizza. I don't think this has been. I'm not sure if it's been verified by other sources, but I trust that man.
Just get involved. I mean,
Yeah.
just thought, well, I'm 17, there's Alex Ferguson, here's a piece of pizza.
Yeah,
Yeet.
I've got me Dominoes. You know, I've had me wedges, so I'm not that full. So I've got a slice left. I'll just slap it on his face.
Yeah, I mean, I would never do that.
No, I definitely wouldn't.
I'd eat it.
Oh, yeah, no. Commend Cesc Fabregas for giving up on a slice of pizza just to
Yeah.
throw it at Alex Ferguson's face. No, that. Christ. Great timing. Yeah, no. That's a pretty iconic moment. To be fair, that's like a sort of what's the word? Like when it's a tale, but you don't know if it's true or not.
A myth.
A myth. That's it. Yeah, I was gonna say mystical, but that doesn't make English, does it?
Doesn't make English.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of a broken English day today. Allow it, please. Is that all you got to say on Pizzagate, Sam?
Yeah. Would you like to move on to your next pick?
So my next one's arguably my favourite, because I remember it happening at the time because I was listening to TalkSport when he was talking, and it's Joe Kinnear. You might remember the story. He was hated by Newcastle fans anyway for being part of this supposed Cockney takeover that they had, and it was when he'd just been announced as, I think it was chairman of Newcastle, and he's doing an interview with Andy Goldstein on TalkSport.
Director of football was
Director of football, of course. Chairman's not him. It's director of football, and he comes on, and this is when Newcastle had a lot of good foreign players, and he clearly struggled to wrap his head around any of these fairly simple names. Johan Kabay, he called Johan Kebab, which was possibly the highlight of the entire thing. Donna or Sheesh? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Sam Allardyce would be the first one to get them mixed up.
Yeah. No, it's a shout actually. Yeah. Well, Joe Kinnear himself isn't exactly the skinniest of men.
No, true.
To be fair, he probably did have his Friday night order on his mind then, and he was like, "Oh, you know what? That French midfielder. I'll tell you what. I'd love a bit of kebab." An easy mistake to make.
Oh,
I'd say.
very easy.
Yeah, and it sort of went a little bit unnoticed that he also called it Ben Arfi. Which also isn't his name, but it's less comical than kebab, so we all really remember the Johan Kebab story. But yeah, no, Joe Kinnear's time at Newcastle was pretty terrible. They all hated him.
No, I think he was pretty successful.
Wasn't he manager for a little bit?
Yeah, he was. He was really good. He was a terrific
Not a hint of
manager.
sarcasm.
No, he was really good.
Brilliant.
Lyndon loves him.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine Lyndon's a big fan. Him and Mike Ashley, Newcastle fans, absolutely love them. But yeah, no, this is back in 2013 that he said this. And he also claimed that he is in weekly contact with Sir Alex Ferguson and insisted that he could open the door to any manager in the world. So if Guardiola wants a door opening, then Joe Kinnear's there like a little doorstop. Just there you go, lad. And that's Joe Kinnear's role. So that's him announcing his return to the Magpies, and Johan Kebab will go down in legend as one of the greatest players to ever grace this earth.
What a player! Was actually a good player.
He really was,
Goodbye.
yeah, very non-Newcastle kind of player.
Yeah, very
So good.
technically gifted.
Yeah. Do you wanna go on to your next part of this weird and
Yeah.
wonderful shambles?
Well, I'm gonna stick with Newcastle, and I'm going on to Kevin Keegan. I mean, you know what's happened there. It's the Premier League in April 1996. I remember it well.
Yeah, we were a whole -5 then, weren't we?
Exactly. It was Newcastle were 3 points in front, I think, of leaders Man United with
They
a
were 3 points in front of
No.
leaders.
No, they were 3 points behind Man United with a game in hand and 2 games remaining. And Sir Alex Ferguson did a bit of mind games before in a press conference and let's say that it got under Keegan's skin a bit. He came out and he decided to do a television interview, and it was full of emotion. Where he unleashed an epic rant where he said, I don't know if I should do it in the accent. I can't do the accent.
Can I do it?
Oh yeah, you go through it.
Alright, can you turn it around so I can do the full script? You can tell him now we're still fighting for this title, and he's got to go to Middlesbrough and get something. And I'll tell you honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it, I tell you. Thank you.
Wow, that was beautiful. Yeah, well, Newcastle.
I'm just looking at the sound. She's gone through the roof.
Oh my goodness, the level was something
She's
crazy.
broken the studio.
Yeah, Newcastle only drew with Forest, and United went on to win the title. So that went well, and the rest is history.
Newcastle's iconic bottling of a title summed up by Kevin Keegan's hunched over an advertising board as they lose. There's that picture, isn't there, where he's just sort of flopping over the advertising board like he's a dead corpse.
Tired.
Yeah, or
don't
tired.
Know why I said tired.
Well, he did look quite tired, didn't he?
Yeah.
He looked
exhausted.
The word I'd used, flummoxed.
Fatigued,
yeah. I think flummoxed tops
yeah,
that's
flummoxed.
Flummoxed is a good word.
Flummoxed.
Should I move on to from some flummoxed Keegan to a John Walters memory?
Oh, John.
There's
Good
a
old
lot,
John.
and John Walters will crop up a little bit later as well, but that's for you to listen to. John Walters had something I remember watching it again. This is just stuff that I personally remember. He had the single worst game a Premier League player has ever had. Well, in my opinion, and I can imagine it's hard to argue with this. In a game against Chelsea, they lost 4-0 at home back in January of 2013. And John Walters, bear in mind he was a striker at this point, or he was playing out wide. It was one of the two. He was playing an attack. He somehow managed to score 2 own goals. I believe they were both from corners. You know, Stoke were legendary at corners. And he also missed a penalty, blazing it miles over. It ended a Stoke 17-game home unbeaten run. They were known at the time for being what's the word that I'd use for Stoke at the time? Shithouse. They really were. Their 17-game unbeaten run at home in the Premier League was basically just stick a load of players as like 2 banks of 4 and let John Walters run around clamping players, and that was pretty much Stoke at this point. And he had the single worst game I can remember watching of a Premier League footballer playing association soccer. It was pretty woeful. But yeah, that was pretty much it. He did an impressive acrobatic flying header into his own goal for one of the 2 own goals that he scored. He got a brace. So cracking player, John Walters, and a great guy overall. But yeah, one of my fondest memories was seeing I just like seeing Stoke fail.
That's nice.
Well, I mean, I am allowed to have a personal anti-Stoke agenda.
I understand why.
Yeah, you know, booing Aaron Ramsey because he broke his ankle seems a little bit
I think he won
backwards.
the ball.
You can't say that.
I clearly won the ball.
Ryan Shawcross, I hope he's still crying.
Was he even crying?
Yeah, he was. He was crying on the pitch. He was absolutely
bless.
sobbing.
See,
good.
That's good sportsmanship, that is.
Yeah, it is. And I guess he can't be held accountable for the Stoke fans, so apologies, Ryan, for hoping you're still crying. But it was a woeful challenge. And I hate Stoke with a burning passion. So seeing this really resonated with me.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
It seems fair. You can't like Stoke, other than you're a Stoke fan. Like no one non-Stoke likes Stoke.
I don't mind Stoke. I think I just like that they have a style of play and they stick to it.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I like them in the Championship this year.
Fair enough. I guess the Kenwyne Jones days were something of a they were
triangles. All I'm saying is Ricardo Fuller, very underrated player.
Yeah, well, he fit that style perfectly. Him and Kenwyne Jones both just... maybe I have a personal vendetta as well as just the whole Aaron Ramsey thing, but also we always struggle going to the Britannia, like really badly.
Stoke battered Liverpool in Gerrard's last ever game.
They did, didn't
they? 6-1 or something. Like, you can't be angry at Stoke.
That's the one good thing Stoke have done.
That was hilarious. So funny. I'd like Liverpool, but that was very funny.
That was that was very good, to be fair. What have you got for me next? What have you got for next, mate?
I've just got to mention it. What an incredible moment. Leicester's title win. 2015-16. Started the season by appointing Claudio Ranieri after replacing Nigel Pearson at Watford. And wow, they were 5,000 to 1 to win the title. 5,000 to 1. The bookies gave them no chance. And they pulled up one of the biggest upsets in sporting history. No, the biggest upset in sporting history. I mean, they were just... And they played some incredible football. They turned really average players into superstars. For example, Michael Brighton, who's before that season you think he's fine, and after that season you're thinking, flipping out, he's one of the best in the Prem. And just like So many great players came out of that team. Kante, who's now one of the best in the world. Vardy, who's an incredible striker. Mahrez, who plays for Man City, and is amazing. And all these players made by this one season and won their title for the first time in their 132-year history. What a moment. And that was incredible.
It was really feel-good story, wasn't it?
It really was.
My again, this is coming from an Arsenal fan's perspective, but my favourite part of that season was when Tottenham came third in the 2-horse race. That really made me laugh because the Spurs were the only ones.
Chelsea, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Hazard, wasn't it, cutting in on his right-hand side? Scored a beauty. I remember celebrating that like a child. Honestly, that was beautiful to watch. But no, Leicester as a whole, massive feel-good story. And I'm glad they've been able to maintain a
Premier
structure.
League status.
Yeah, well, not even just that, a structure of a winning Premier League team.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They don't look like they're going to be a team that's going to drop off at any point.
No, they're a top half team and a solid one. This season, the challenger for Europe, agree, but
I could see them consistently going for Europe.
You think?
Yeah, if they get a couple seasons under their belt, they could genuinely crack that top six.
I do like their manager. What's his name?
Brendan Rodgers.
My head. Brendan Rodgers. I really like Brendan Rodgers.
You must love him.
And I think they've got a good club structure. I like the way they buy players. Yeah, I like them a lot.
They're good. No, that is a very good feel-good story. Something else that's a very good feel-good story. I'm going to take you through it again. You've probably heard it a million times, but it is. I don't remember it, but I've been told about it and just love the story as a whole. It really is. It's Premier League folklore, and it was 23 years ago. The one and only Ali Dia made his first and last Premier League appearance for Southampton. Ali Dia had claimed, he somehow managed to trick Southampton boss Graham Souness into thinking that he was the cousin of the great George Weah, who had just won the Ballon d'Or and the World Player of the Year award in 1995. He'd also claimed that he turned out for Paris Saint-Germain and had played 13 times for his country and scored for them. Despite all this being completely lies, he managed to blag his way into a 1-month contract and even made an appearance in the Premier League. So on the 23rd of November 1996, Ali Dia, wearing the number 33 shirt, replaced Matt Letizia, Matt Letizia of all people, the Southampton's biggest legend, other than James Beattie.
In a
home game against Leeds, and he picked up the ball, and he nearly scored. He nearly scored for Southampton. And
good save.
It was. And the fact that he managed to trick someone with as much pride as Graham Souness into him being George Weah's cousin, isn't George Weah's son currently playing? Is it Timothy Weah?
Yeah, Timothy Weah.
Where is he? I think he's in the Bundesliga, isn't he? I think he's playing for someone good. He's playing for someone proper as well.
Couldn't tell you.
Fair enough.
I think he's in the French league.
I think he's playing for someone proper. Yeah, no, he's a good player. But Ali Dia was far from that. He was a fraud. And yeah, he had his deal rescinded after the one cameo appearance. Timothy Weah. Sweet. But yeah, no. Apparently, Letizia then came out and said that it was unbelievable. He ran around the pitch like Bambi on ice. It was very embarrassing to watch.
He got subbed off again, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to take him off again in the 85th minute for Ken Monku. In a 2-0 loss, it became quickly apparent that Ali Dia was a fraud, and that was that. But imagine if that happened now. In an era where social media is more and more prominent. But it'd be amazing if you managed to con your way into that. The background checks done would be far superior nowadays. But still, the Ali Dia story will go down, has gone down in legend, and will be continued to be told throughout the years. Because what a player!
One of the greats.
He really was. Well, one of the great fraudsters, I'd say.
Other than
Wilfred Zaha, he's up there. You know.
Dive. Is that Tom Daly?
Anyway, I actually quite like Zaha. Hot take. But I just think it's a popular opinion. Anyway, the last one. It seems fitting to end on this, doesn't it, Sam?
It's Sergio Aguero.
I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again.
Yeah, that's right. Never. May 2012. United have got the win. Against Sunderland to win 1-0 and maybe win the title, but no. Edin Dzeko has brought City level against QPR. Man City need a win to clinch their first Premier League title in 44 years. And then it went the story is, I don't even know how to describe it. Fairy tale.
It is like I mean, it's the second best Premier League winning story.
Behind Leicester's. Yeah,
No. Arsenal, 1989. Michael Thomas last ever season against Liverpool, who were the team that they were challenging against. They needed a win far better. Literally, hands
so
down.
that's third.
Mate, honestly, not even close.
I'm not going to lie, I've seen the DVD, and it was a good title win for Arsenal. But yeah, Man City fans were crying. They thought it was all over. But I tell you what, Sergio Aguero, this moment was incredible. So the iconic commentary, Balotelli with his only assist for Man City, who slid in to set up Aguero, took it around the defender and smashed it at the near post, sparking absolute limbs. And let's be honest, without that, Man City wouldn't be the club they are today.
Completely agreed. My favourite scene of that is Joe Hart just running around in circles like an airplane.
Well, I just don't know what to do.
He does. Yeah. He's like, oh my God, I've got another Head and Shoulders deal. Way. He's not celebrating the goal.
There's no dandruff over there.
That was a completely iconic moment. As much as I talk about the Michael Thomas one being far better, which it was, 26th of May 1989. It literally 100% was.
It literally wasn't.
It was against the team that they were challenging against. This was against QPR. All right, this would be like
they
if
were,
City had done that.
2-1 down in stoppage time.
Yeah, Arsenal were 1-0 at one point. But still, right? Okay.
Cool.
Alan Smith scored, so good. Or maybe we 1-0 down actually. I can't remember. Obviously, I wasn't alive. But no, this would be like, right, if the Man City one was done against United on that final day. That would be what it was like.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I've watched the Arsenal whole documentary. I watched it with my dad. Big up Steve. But yeah, I've seen. Don't get me wrong. It was incredible. It was an incredible event. However,
why is this better?
I think Aguero tops this.
Why?
Because it literally last kick of the game.
So is Michael Thomas. Literally, the game ended after he did his roly-poly celebration.
That's true. Xhaka equalised in stoppage time.
Alan Smith equalised.
It was against. They did it to stop their biggest rivals winning the Premier League.
We did it to stop a team that had dominated English football for the prior decade.
However, it wasn't their biggest rivals, was it?
Well, it was in the same year. Well, no, okay.
They stopped the greatest manager of all time winning in the Premier League.
Yeah, except for he won about 20 times other than that.
Yeah, but they stopped him in this season.
Yeah, with a weakened Man United team.
Weakened's harsh.
They played Anderson.
they had a great
the Arsenal
team.
One was better because it was against the team that they were challenging against.
Put in the comments.
And it was in such an iconic year.
I'm not backing down. Archie's not backing down. No. Put in the comments or tweet us.
We'll do another poll.
Yeah, we'll do a poll.
We did it with the Wan-Bissaka.
What was the more iconic moment, Aguero or the Not Smith.
Michael Thomas. Oh my God. Time is wasted. Time has been.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't alive, but sure.
Very poor. Very poor.
Should we move on?
Yeah, sure.
Out.
Yes, please. We're going to go on to discuss what we've compiled as our worst Premier League 11 ever. No, we're not talking about Huddersfield. We are talking about a compiled team from the Premier League.
Wait, I just clocked onto that. No. Derby, surely.
Derby were worse. Yeah, no, they were. I just figured Huddersfield was more relevant for you kids.
They are terrible, though.
They are indeed. None of their players featured, I don't think. Anyway, we've done position by position each. I think Sam's got 6 players. I've got 5. Because that's fair. And
because you can't redivide 11 by 2.
Fine, I'll pick a manager.
Fine.
Cool. Right, goalkeeper, Sam. We're going to go with the 4-4-2 because there's too many strikers to leave out. You go ahead. Who's your goalkeeper?
I've gone for one for this season. I know Archie doesn't agree with this, but I've put Roberto in goal. He has to go in goal. He played 8 games and conceded 17 goals with no clean sheets. And he literally got brought in for the season as a backup keeper. Fabianski got injured, so he got playing time. He got dropped for David Martin, who's only at the club because his dad played for them. And literally, at the nearest opportunity, he got sent back to Spain. I mean, he was terrible. His save percentage was woeful. Everything that was shot at him went in. He was a calamity.
He really was woeful, and I can see why you've put him in. But my personal opinion, I mean, we're putting Roberto in there, but my personal opinion would be Massimo Taibbi needs to be in there. Signing after Peter Schmeichel's gone as his direct replacement to the Premier League's best ever goalkeeper and they bring this guy in expecting him to be big. They've paid at the time what was about £5 million, I believe, which was big money. Bought him in from Italy.
Money.
And he flaps it across from Sami Hyypiä against Liverpool. Looks very not confident, lacking confidence in any of his games that he played. And then against Southampton, Matt Le Tissier, who featured earlier, P-roller shot to Taibbi, goes to pick it up and just rolls through his body out of his Long John's goalkeeper trousers that he was wearing and into the goal. And that was the last we saw of him.
P-roller's harsh. I mean, the movement on the ball was just incredible.
The movement on the ball does not exist.
Couldn't have done anything about it.
The ball barely moved.
It's
forwards, let alone
straight line,
sideways, honestly. And from then on, he's gone down in Man United folklore and football folklore as, I'd personally say, the worst ever Premier League goalkeeper. But Roberto is more of a modern pick, and I can back that too.
Yeah, no. Do you want to move on to your right back?
So my right back, and I'm doing it for the culture. Sam's stopped me from going with Alan Hutton because I really didn't. I was, as we've spoken about before, when he retired, Alan Hutton was one of the worst right backs in Premier League history. But I was tempted to also go with Serge Aurier, but that seems very harsh on him considering he's kind of, I mean, not new to the Premier League, but he's playing now, and it seems like an easy pick. So I've gone with one which you Arsenal fans will definitely remember because we didn't really see him an awful lot in the position he was supposed to be playing. Brazilian Andre Santos. This man was put into right back, and I don't know why. As a Brazilian right back, he was obviously naturally going to be going forwards more than he was going to be defending. And we were like, oh, this guy's going to come in. He's going to be. We'd heard that he had an absolute bullet of a shot on him as well. And so we were like, oh, he's going to come in and he'll go forwards, but he'll also do the dirty work and come back. No, never came back. Barely even came in our half. We played him up top in one game, I seem to remember. Wenger chucked him on up top just because he had pace. And he was woeful. Always out of position. Made Gal Clichy on the other side, an aging Gal Clichy, look like Roberto Carlos. Honestly, he was terrible. And he was part of a calamitous, if that's a word, Arsenal defence at that time. Which really, it was kind of the doldrums of the Wenger era that really brought home how terrible we were at the time. But yeah, Andre Santos is going at right back, so we've got Roberto in goal, Santos at right back. Sam, your centre half, please.
I've gone for Sebastian Basson, the Tottenham legend, and just the English footballing legend. No, he was absolutely woeful. He played for four clubs in the Premier League. He played for Newcastle, where he got relegated. Played for Tottenham, where he didn't, though he got loaned out to Wolves, where he did get relegated. Then he got sold to Norwich, where he got relegated twice. Meaning this guy got relegated for the Premier League 4 times. I'm sorry, once, fair enough. 2, maybe coincidental. 3, definitely not coincidental. And 4, you are a terrible player. He also got relegated twice in France before he even got to the Premier League for Mainz, which shows how bad he is.
He's done 2 trebles of relegation.
He's been relegated 6 times in his career, and I'm sorry, but he has to go into this 11 just for that. He was woeful.
Because I remember his Norwich days, he didn't stand out as their worst player, but the fact that, well, he wasn't great, but the fact that he's been relegated so many times must make it clear that he's the factor that's sending you down, really. Yeah, he was woeful.
Well, maybe he thinks about himself as a hero and just thinks, I'm just going to join the clubs that are definitely going to go down and try and keep him up, but fails every time.
Yeah, exactly. He's more of a cult hero, you know? He's like the Robin Hood of the football world, you know.
If Robin Hood missed every arrow.
And was called Sebastian Basson.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, okay, so our team so far is Roberto, Andre Santos, and Sebastian Basson. I'm going to go on the other centre-half, and it was a real toss-up. I really want to do another one for the culture and go with Sebastian Squillaci, who was terrible. But I'm going to go with, and this might just be because of what I remember of him, because he might have had a couple of good games.
Own goal merchant.
But own goal merchant. He's got the most own goals in Premier League history, comfortably as well. I don't remember the numbers.
Carragher's behind him, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's terrible.
As is everyone behind him. But Richard Dunn. I only really remember him at Man City, to be honest with you. I won't lie. He was at Villa as well, wasn't he? I remember him a bit of Villa. But at Man City, I remember him being part of that Mark Hughes team, and he was woeful. Own goal merchant, as I say, most own goals in Premier League history.
Leader.
And Leader, yes. Captain, leader. Oh, another
Leads
own
the
goal.
ball into his own goal.
He does indeed. Yeah, Richard Dunn, fairly simple selection for me. So that's Roberto in goal, Andre Santos at right back, Sebastian Bassong at centre half, with the incredible partnership with Richard Dunn. Who are you going with your left back, Sam?
I am going for possibly one of the most overhyped players in world football at the time. I've gone for Royston Drenthe. I know what you're thinking. Left winger. He did play quite a few games at left back as well.
We were struggling
across his career. Yeah, no, we were. Yeah, he went to Everton on loan from Real Madrid. Oh my goodness me, he was terrible. I mean, he didn't even necessarily. His time at Everton was marred by injuries. Fair enough. He got 3 goals. Well done. But he just. Bear in mind, he was bigged out to be he's going to be one of the greats. He just wasn't that. He wasn't that level. He wasn't good, and that's why he's now in I'm pretty sure he owns a club in Ibiza or something, or he just doesn't play football. He was just.
Sorry, you're acting like owning a club in Ibiza is a bad thing. That is like a life goal.
Oh,
if you finish playing
don't
football,
think it does.
There's nothing better to do if you finish football than to own a club. That's unreal. Are you going to look up if Royston Drenthe currently owns a club in Ibiza?
Drenthe current job.
Okay, well, I'll quickly... Oh, how are you spelling current?
Ignore that, please.
Current. Oh,
Brilliant.
Sam. Okay, so Current is at left back. No, okay, so our team so far, I'll just run you through it. It's Roberto, Andre Santos, Sebastian Bassong, Richard Dunn, and Royston Drenthe. Have you found if Royston Drenthe currently
No,
owns
I don't know. Other candidates were Gaetang Bong and Matthew Briggs.
Yeah, Matthew Briggs for the Fulham culture.
Flop.
Yeah, fair enough.
I like him.
Oh, you like him. Fair enough. Sorry. No, don't interrupt me again, please.
Or I'll beat you.
Yeah. Oh, your words. I'm going to go... So we'll go to our centre mids now. I'm going to go with... Basically, right, there's... If you want to annoy a Man United fan, there's 2 words you need to say, and they're the same word. Jemba.
Man City.
Oh, yeah. No, that as well. I mean,
sorry.
Yeah, they have beaten them twice this season. Or 3 times. No, twice.
3
times. Yeah, 3 times this season. Yeah. So that wouldn't trigger them massively. But Jemba really would. Eric Jemba. I'm going to say it again because I just love saying his name. He was brought in to replace Roy Keane. And he was absolutely terrible. They paid the big bucks for him at the time. I think it's a similar amount, so they actually paid for Massimo Taibi. And he was terrible. Man United fans hated him from the outset. He was not very good at all. He absolutely clamped, I think it was Sol Campbell in the Community Shield. That was the only relevance that he'd ever have to Roy Keane. One bad tackle. And he was quickly shipped off to Aston Villa, who inexplicably paid nearly £2 million for him, which again at the time was quite a bit. And then he was sent out on loan to Burnley, played out in Qatar. Really had the journeyman career, but not the career that United fans were hoping for. They really honestly hoped he'd be their answer to Vieira after Roy Keane
he was terrible.
Parted ways, and he was woeful, and he definitely goes into our team. So our team so far is Roberto, Andre Santos, Sebastian Bassong, Richard Dunn, Royston Drenthe, and Eric Jemba. Sam, who's your other central midfielder?
Add into that, I've got Lee Cattermole as a partner. As his midfield partner. I know a lot of people will be screaming, "Oh, he had some good games." There were times he was almost in the England squad. To you, I'd say, shut up. He was
Brilliant.
a red card waiting to happen. Like, such an unreliable player. I know people will be like, "Oh, Joey Barton as well." Yeah, well, at least Joey Barton had a bit of technical ability. Lee Cattermole had no technical ability at all. He literally just ran around like two-footing everyone. It was like, yeah, he was quite a bit of a leader for Sunderland, but he
You can't be a leader if you're not playing because you're suspended.
He got them. He was part of the team that got them relegated, and then he got them relegated from the Championship, and then he got released in the League One. So, I wouldn't say his career at Sunderland's been all peaks.
It didn't end like a proper legend, did it?
Yeah, I mean that's a better way to put it. But yeah, poor technically. Like two
pour off the
red
ball.
card waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Lee Cattermole.
He's basically the Scott Brown of the Premier League.
Scott Brown has more technical ability.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Celtic fans think he's their answer to Pirlo. So, yeah, that's we'll leave that there.
You're a generally it's the Scottish League. So funny.
Oh yeah, no, it's not great, is it? Honestly, I've ruled myself out of any potential future jobs for the SPFL. But there we go. We'll go on to our wingers now. We've got a couple of decent selections here. I've nicked your selection. I won't lie, Sam.
You did.
Left wing, because he primarily plays out there. He's currently torn his ACL. Bebe. Man United fans remember him for being terrible. Again, there's a bit of a theme here of players we've picked, actually. Well, I mean, there's a couple of Man United players in there.
For you there is.
Yeah, there is, and I wanted to go Taibbi as well. So I think, again, it's just an anti-Man United agenda from me. But it's not my fault they had terrible players, and Bebe was one of those.
8-2.
Yeah, You did not just say that. That day I cried a lot.
Did you actually?
I did. Well, I cried a lot that day.
That's
Don't bring back memories, please. Please, right?
Yeah.
We made Ashley Young actually look good.
Yeah.
All right?
He was good on the wing.
Yeah, no, he was. And didn't help by the fact that we had Cole Jenkinson, very young Cole Jenkinson, trying to deal with him.
Icon.
Yeah, he was, to be fair. But anyway, we're not talking about Cole Jenkinson, we're talking about Bebe. And rumour has it that Sir Alex Ferguson had actually never seen him play before he signed for him.
He admitted he hadn't.
He'd just heard about him. And
George Mendes suddenly became his agent before he joined. Bit of a coincidence.
Yeah, funny that. It's almost like he controls football along with Mino Raiola. But yeah, no, Bebe came in and was woeful. Just didn't really play very well.
Played 7 games.
7 games was it in the end. Yeah, no, he really was not very good at football, and it showed. And yeah, he was terrible. Man United fans thought he was going to be the next big thing. He wasn't. He was a big thing in terms of he was a bit of a chunky lad, but he was not a very good player. Somehow, right, Bebe is still only 29. Which I find absolutely bizarre. Who's he playing for? I think he's playing in Spain.
Yeah, he's playing for like Eibar or something like that.
Yeah, I want to say someone like Eibar actually. Let's have a little look. No, I've looked up
Rayo Vallecano.
Vallecano, there we go. Yeah, no, he's currently torn his ACL, so prayers up to him. I hope he gets better soon, but you're woeful. So our team, if I can just run us through that at the minute, is Roberto in goal, Andre Santos at right back, Bassong and Richard Dunn at centre half, Royce and Drenthe at left back, Eric Jemba and Lee Catamol, who are both going to be imprisoned if they ever played in midfield together, and Bebe at left wing. Sam, who's your right winger?
Gervinho. Not particularly happy he's there. Admittedly, he wasn't great. And his career for Arsenal didn't start off well when he got sent off on his debut for slapping Joey Barton, of all people, in the face. And yeah, it kind of went downhill from there. He got a few goals. And there were a few appearances where he did look quite good. But yeah, overall, he wasn't a great sign. They paid a bit of money for him. Definitely wasn't worth the money. I don't necessarily dislike him too much. Archie, you're not a huge fan.
Yeah, no, I really aren't. I'm really not. Sorry. He had so much potential. That's the worst thing, and he's currently doing well out in Parma before the whole coronavirus thing happened. He's scoring goals for them. He's their captain, playing up top bizarrely, considering he's got the technical ability of a dead fish. He was honestly terrible. I'm not going to make the typical forehead jokes, because it was big, really big. But he had all the skills, zero end product, ran himself down dark alleys, and yeah, he generally just wasn't a very good player. And I think he's completely justified in this team because there's not many other options.
Yeah, B-set Theo Walcott.
Well, yeah, no, I can actually go along with that. Yeah. Somehow offside less times than Theo Walcott.
Incredible.
But should I go on to my striker?
Yeah. Who have you gone for?
I have gone with, at the time, who was Norwich's record signing.
Incredible.
The Dutch wizard that is Ricky van Wolfswinkel.
Oh, what a player.
And he came into the league and he wasn't very good at football, basically. Didn't score many goals.
He wasn't that bad.
Oh, he was woeful. Norwich was bad.
He scored on his debut. He had a really good debut, to be fair.
Yeah, loads of players have good debuts, though. I mean, Federico Makeda had a good debut.
That was a very good debut.
That was a very good debut, exactly.
Good goal.
But yeah, no, Van Wolfswinkel, Norwich fans probably despise him considering how bad he is. They held out with him, they really did. They gave him more and more chances than anyone, and it ended up getting them relegated. And yeah, no, he was very bad. And that's basically why he's there, as are all these players, because they're not very good at football. But as a Premier League 11, he's in there just for...
Shall I finish off the 11? I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, no, crack on, mate, that's all right. I don't care. That's fine. You go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just ahead of Archie, but I'll go for Josie Altidore. Not Ali Dia. Just because we've mentioned him already.
Yeah. Ali Dia is our 12th man.
Yeah, he really is. He's the manager. No, I'm joking. Josie Altidore. And to be honest, watching Josie Altidore, he was quick. He was strong. He was good at holding up the ball. See, I think he was in the 11. He couldn't shoot. His finishing was absolutely woeful. I mean, he played 70 times in the Premier League for 2 clubs. He played for Sunderland and Hull.
I believe so. He's currently out in America, though, isn't he?
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah.
But
So
he
not
scored,
America, Canada. Sorry.
Oh yeah, American League though.
Yeah.
He scored 2 goals in 70 games for a striker. That is absolutely woeful. He was just. It was annoying because he had so much potential. And if he could finish, he would have been a really good player. But no, he couldn't finish. And yeah, Josie Altidore getting the 11. Now Archie, finish off. Who is your manager?
So the manager we're going to go with is Frank de Boer. Just because he was only in charge for 5 games and 77 days and was terrible. Yeah, that's basically really it. He was woeful at Palace. He made that Palace team look somehow worse than it already was. And he was genuinely shocking. They couldn't score. They shipped goals like mad under him. And just because of the comical amount of time that he was in charge, honestly, he makes Sam Allardyce look like a respectable England career. But he was shocking. And he's our manager. So we're going to run through the entire of our Clear and Obvious podcast worst Premier League 11 of all time. In goal, we've got Roberto. Right back, we've got Andre Santos. Centre halves, we've got Sebastian Bassong and Richard Dunn. Left back, we've got Royston Drenthe. Central midfield, we have Eric Djemba in a lethal partnership with Lee Catamol. Left wing, we have Bebe. Right wing, we have Gervinho. And up top, the partnership of Ricky van Wolfswinkel and Josie Altidore will surely get relegated with Frank de Boer at the helm.
Yeah, no, I think he'll keep us up.
Do you reckon? With Sebastian Bassong and his 6 relegations in his career, I can say 100%. Right, okay, so we finished our 11. About 45 minutes in, we're doing well. So what we're going to finish off the podcast with is we're going to go through the archives of footballers' golden tweets. We're going to go mining through the archives of Twitter, and we're going to find our personal favourite tweets of footballers because, with the turn of the 2010s and the rise of social media, footballers are adjusting to social media like all of us. It just means that they're more under the spotlight, so we can take the mick out of them more. Do you want me to kick things off?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, okay, my first one is Robert Huth, and he was actually fined for this.
Yeah, probably deservedly.
I think was he banned as well? But the outcome of it wasn't amazing for our Rob. He took part in a game on Twitter that basically got pictures of people, and it was debatable what gender they were. And Robert Huth decided, you know what? As a professional footballer in a position of influence, this is a good idea. So he took part in this game, replying with quotes: "It's a schlong, penis, 9 cock, no cock, cock, and I'm in." They were the replies to this at Cock or Not Cock account. And he also had quite the relationship with Jonathan Walters on Twitter. Him and Walters bantered back and forth quite regularly. And it was just hilarious to watch him on Twitter. But that particular thread of tweets is something that I can fully get behind. Because Robert Huth trying to understand social media is hilarious.
That really is funny.
It really is.
Is it as funny as Ashley Cole, who thinks he's picked up the lingo, and let's be honest, he really hasn't. Sorry, there was just someone waving some antibacterial wipes at us at the door.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she have the suit on?
Oh no, she didn't.
Are we in quarantine accidentally? We've been quarantined in the studio.
Oh, this is terrible.
Right, let's rattle through these before we get
for 7 days.
Before we get quarantined.
But yeah, Ashley Cole thinking he's cool. Just got the Twitter, and he atted Drake before saying, "Yo, bro, it's me, Ash Cole. I'm on this ting now. YOLO, ha 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 ha." Now,
my favourite part, that's YOLO. What year is this?
This is the year of 3. No, it's 2012.
2012. So at the height of YOLO, and has Ashley Cole just won a Champions League then? What date is it? Does it have a specific date on it or not?
Yeah, it would have been July.
So he'd have just won the Champions League, and he's like, "Oh my god, I know I'm gonna contact Drake." And
good old Drizzy.
Good old Drizzy. Ashley Cole, what a man.
What a man.
Yeah.
Let's. What is your next selection?
My next one is the lethal striker that is Victor Anichebe. Anichebe? I don't know. I'm not.
Anichebe.
Some people say Anichebe though, which is where I get
Some
confused.
people are wrong.
Oh, okay, fair enough. We'll have to ask him. Victor Anichibi or Anichibi, can you come on the podcast and tell us how to pronounce your name? Or just message us. Anyway, you can do it on Twitter because we know you're active on there. And he put out a tweet which was clearly sent to him by his PR team, and he's literally just copied and pasted the entire thing and put it into Twitter, but he's copied and pasted a little bit too much. So on the face of it, a tweet saying, unbelievable support yesterday and great effort by the lads. Hard result to take, but we go again. Seems like a generic football tweet, but clearly it's too generic because at the top it says, can you tweet something like? So it's clearly something that's been sent to him in an attempt to rile up some support from Sunderland fans, and it backfired massively, went viral. But yeah, can you tweet something like, Victor Anichibi, what are you doing? Anyway, mate, do you want to go on to your next tweet?
Yeah, I'm now going to go for Romelu Lukaku, who was chilling in 2013, and he got, I don't know how to describe it, but something happened that had never happened to him before, which is quite surprising. He put on Twitter, just had some kids doing trick or treat at my door. It's the first time it happened in my life, haha. And to this, FIFA, the governing body for all of football, replied saying, what did you do, Rob? And he replied saying, gave them Kit Kats.
What an interaction.
Incredible interaction.
One for the ages.
It really is.
I've got to say, finding out how footballers used to use Twitter is actually hilarious.
It's so funny.
Because it's how we all used to use Twitter, or, some of us used to use Twitter because we didn't really know what it was about. So, we've all got old accounts where it's all a little bit like weird stuff, like talk about the X Factor and stuff, but because they're footballers, everyone knows. And this one's possibly my favourite, because Rooney, when he got onto Twitter, I think just sort of thought stuff and then his fingers would type it out and it would press send and he didn't really think about anything. And he was clearly in quite an angry state. He did a couple of tweets like this, but my favourite, he's atted himself, he's atted Wayne Rooney and put, I'll put you asleep within 10 seconds, you little girl. Don't say stuff and not follow it up. I'll be waiting. This was May of 2011, so Wayne has been waiting 9 years for himself to slap. Which is good, I'd say. He's been hanging about for a while. He's moved around. He's clearly tried to find himself in America, and now he's come back. He's realised he's not out there, and he's not put anyone to sleep out there. And so he's still waiting, according to this tweet. Some 9 years from that tweet that he made at midnight. So clearly he had a bad dream, or he was, had a couple too many, and tweeted out saying all of that, and he's still waiting. So Wayne, if you want to get back to us on that, that'd be great.
Unbelievable. And now we have Dean Windass, a legend of Hull, scoring that iconic playoff goal, of course. And I think he got a bit bored. And messaged his friend. He said, "How you doing, mate? Are you okay?" To which he replied, "Yeah, I'm fine, thanks." Bit weird that. Yeah, just checking up if he was okay. No one else can do that, only Dean. And
I don't even think he was doing that comically. I reckon he was just
bit bored.
Well, that or something else, maybe intoxicated. Just replying to himself.
Wouldn't have surprised me.
Honestly, would not at all. D. Windass, you're a hero. I love that. This was another favourite of mine. Comes from the oracle that is Michael Owen, and his completely unnecessary rant at Strictly Come Dancing. He tweeted saying, "This Strictly Come Dancing show is a joke. Far too much touchy-feely stuff for married men/women. Instant divorce material in my eyes, with 3 exclamation marks." Back in 2013, Michael was a bit riled up. Strictly Come Dancing. It was clearly too much for his innocent little eyes to watch because Strictly Come Dancing's a little bit NSFW. But he's clearly having none of it. And Michael, if your opinions on Strictly Come Dancing have improved, then I do hope that isn't the case, because your morals are correct, Michael. So keep preaching about the horrors that are Strictly Come Dancing, because that's the content we're all here for.
That is hilarious. That oh, Mike, what a boring. He's so boring. Honestly.
He's not even funny boring like James Milner, who's actually unlucky not to feature on this list because his Twitter's gold.
Yeah, he's really. Oh, I don't really like Michael Owen as a pundit.
Do you know?
As a player, good player.
Yeah, very
not
good player. Exciting player, the complete opposite.
Yeah,
of
really boring.
Yeah.
Now moving on to Peter Crouch, who let's be fair to say, over the time has had Twitter on strings. But here is his response to someone. He just posted on Twitter saying, "Congratulations, Man City. You really were the shark team this season." To which Alan McGregor Alan McGreg's replied, "Top man, I promise to stop wanking over your wife now, Pete." and Pete replied to that, say, "That'd be great, thanks, mate."
I love Peter at the time to reply to that. I bet you he's just sat there going, "Peter Crouch just replied to me. I wonder what he's." Oh no.
That's so funny. Like why would you tweet that to Peter Crouch anyway?
You can picture him saying it as well.
But the fact is, it's like one of those things you say but you don't tweet.
Yeah. Well, no, you can like hear Peter Crouch saying the response. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, mate. Yeah. That's just that is gold.
Cheers, mate.
And this is now my final one is Wilfred Zaha on clubbing. He got mentioned earlier in a fairly unfair light, so I figure I'll bring him back, bring his morale back up by bringing up this old tweet. This was in 2011. It's just at the end of it, it's got #cockblock, so you know what you're in for. This happens, everyone. ... Meet a beautiful girl in a club in Egypt, as you do, and her fat, ugly friend gets in the way of us dancing. #cockblock. Wilfred, I feel your pain, honestly. I really do. That poor man, and honestly, it must be like, play with James Tompkins, honestly. That poor guy. No, Wilfred, I can imagine you're livid. Don't go to clubs out in Egypt, though. That's not recommended. I wouldn't say, at least.
Why not?
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, I've been to a club out in Turkey and it was quite nice. So maybe stick to clubs in South London. They're far nicer, I imagine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Croydon, though.
Well, I know, but there are really nice parts of South London.
Yeah, no, true.
Yeah,
like Fulham.
Yeah, exactly. Is it South London?
Yeah, Southwest.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm going to finish on Victor Wanyama, who has a way with words. There are so many tweets I could have picked, but I picked the most iconic one. I've gone for Victor Wanyama. Just talk about his meal tonight. He said, "I had spaghetti, and it was very nice. I enjoyed it." Whoa. And that, I think, is a brilliant way to end the podcast.
It really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in today. We know there's no content on football at the moment, so we're trying our best. Of course, this will be my last podcast for a while, obviously, as we go into isolation. Robert, though, is very capable of filling my shoes. He'll replace me eventually, and I won't have a place at the pod anymore.
No, you
so
won't,
that'll be great.
Bin you off.
Any last words? That sounds very...
any last words as the guillotine comes down?
Yeah, that sounds optimistic.
That really does. Last words wise, we're not going to plug because it feels... Well, I might do actually. My Twitter's at Arch Corbett.
Sam Cole 2468.
Yeah, but no, we'll get Robert on as Sam's being a melt. No, Sam's self-isolating, going home to see his family.
Yeah.
Very commendable. I'm not doing the same, at least for the minute. But yeah, we'll get Robert on, I'd imagine, for however many episodes we're still at uni for. And then when we're not at uni...
Probably one.
Yeah, probably. It might just be one episode. But we're going to continue with... Well, I'm going to try and continue with some trivial Premier League stuff. I'm not sure how successful I'll be with that.
Yeah.
But we will see. Me and Robert will have a bit of a brainstorm. It's going to be all a little bit random, a little bit higgledy-piggledy at the minute. But that's just the way things are at the minute. It's a higgledy-piggledy society that we live in. That might be the title of the podcast, actually. No, it won't. It'll be weird and wonderful. But I'd like to put in the description, higgledy-piggledy, because I really like that word.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my last words. Stay safe, everyone. Yeah. Wash your hands for 20 seconds.
Sing God Save the Queen.
Yeah, don't be a mug.
Michael Hector's Magic.
Yeah, don't be a mug and be social like us two. Don't talk to each other.
Exactly.
Right?
No, you're not allowed to anymore. Boris Johnson's like, let's not shut the unis or schools, but you're not allowed to see each other. Makes sense.
You can't.
But yeah, I'm not going to put my political views on a podcast.
No, we love him. No, God, no, Christ.
That's a political view.
No, I'm not a Tory.
Right, so to end the pod, Archie's a Tory. Thank you for listening.
You can't do me like that.
I will see, or you'll hear me. Well, I don't even know how to end. You'll hear me when you do.
I've been Archie.
I've been Sam.
And this has been a Clear and Obvious podcast.
Good night.